I'm really glad that I could be here to talk about a project that takes us back in time. The old railway of Taichung has been built for over 100 years. The project Impression of Railway documented the proceedings of citizen participation and the planning for historical landscape and through design, turning the obsolete railway into a belt-like green space, flooded with the history and culture regarding historical railway, now called Taiwan Connection 1908. The construction of the railway in 1908 contributed to the prosperity for the Taichung area after the opening the Western Longitudinal Railway. Taichung became an essential hub for the economy of Taiwan. But this also leads to the fall of the downtown area. As transportation became convenient and the people moved to the suburbs, the railway also separates the eastern and the western part of the city, causing imbalanced urban development. Searching for faster railway transportation speed, the city started to construct development railway in 1905. What shall we do about the obsolete railway? Because of geography features, the old railway was built on an embankment from 3 to 5 meters tall. How can railway transform from a simple transportation system to a unique cultural landscape for Taichung? From the map here, we can see the green belts surrounding the downtown area of Taichung. The area might seem old, but it is rich in cultural assets. The outside of the green belt are resorted area heading toward the suburbs. How do we attract the people to revisit the old downtown? Building a friendly historical site through the series of connections made between the east and the west side of the railway station, with the function of history education, and at the same time fulfilling the needs for eco-friendly transportation, became our goal for this project. The citizens raised the initiative of preservation of the railway. It is a rarely seen bottom-up proceed. When it's quoted our plan, we pay attention to the voice of local. We communicated with them through small-scale forums, visitation to the residents, creating large events, and developing electronic media platforms such as Facebook page for residents to participate in the project and raising acceptance. This infrastructure of the old railway was preserved and became design developments. The embankments that were once barriers are transformed into accessible staircases and slabs. Under the premise of preserving the tracks, 3 tunnels are made to become underpass through the embankment, raising future accessibility for the public. The Arrow Bridge elevated railway, embankments, middle tower, steel house, multi-layer planting, and the interweaving of lighting and shadow became a long painting hanging on the old railway, becoming a great skyline for Taichung. The Taichung Road Arrow Bridge is a vital impression people has toward Taichung, as it is a welcoming portal to visitors into the city. The preservation of the Arrow Bridge as the gate of time and space turned it into the entrance to the garden on the railway. Taiwan Connection 1908 and the waterway of Midori-Kawa intersects with the railway being on top of the river, forming a particular cross of green and built. Our design utilized this geographic feature and diverse water from the river as a source for this waterfall. During construction, we discovered a pure structure made of red brick that was buried into the embankment. We combined it with the pre-existing structure of the older railway and preserved it as part of the demonstration of the history of railway. This location used to the coded Omachijo station. We created a space imitating the outdoor environment of the pine forest as a resting area with public bar-like seating and public toilets. Stonewall constructed with a fragment from the old railway extended from the ground level into the air. Steel plates with hollow rating of Taiwan Connection 1908 are placed on the top of this wall, presented as the landscape installation. The street wood furniture should not be limited to chairs and the city, but can be combined with excited features such as the different framing of the view. In the design of this project, we encountered many interesting issues, such as the intertwining of tunnel at ground level and the old railway, the transformation of pavements for the railway to suit its current purpose, the reuse of railway facilities, arrangements of plans, the attempt to soften the rigid impression made by the elevated railway. All this contributed to the making of comfortable feel for the 800-meter-long pedestrian zone. The ramps and the staircase become venues in the city for young people to perform and exercise. The arrangement may seem inadvertently. However, it successfully retained the impression of the railway and its developments. From this project, we have deeper understanding of Taichung City and the historical culture of the railway. Taiwan Connection 1908 creates an irreplaceable impression of the railway that people will never forget and become the green lining to promote the quality of life in the downtown area.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Did you say?
And it's a
very linear
big project. How
The
long
duration?
it is? The length of this intervention.
800公尺
800公尺
800 meter long.
Okay, thank you. Todd, do you have some questions?
Yeah, I'm familiar with. I've worked in Taiwan, so I know this place. But I'm intrigued that you used the history so powerfully, and it's fascinating that it's become the basis for your design. I thought what was really good was the fact that it seems that from those plans that you show, it's all about integrating also into the neighborhoods. Is that right? Because it looked like you're creating a series of links with other green spaces across the town. Is that right? So sort of in the way that people converge to go to the railway station. It's the same idea of this sort of green spaces linking to the corridor that you're creating. Is that correct?
Yes, like let me show you this one.
Yeah.
That one. So you can see that along this 800-meter long, let's say, green corridor, we have we encounter many intersections, and we have tunnels over here that people can go through, and people can go on this Taiwan Connection 1908 through the stairs. And so you can see all this intersection over here, and how pedestrian can go up to the plane through stairs or slope or elevator, whatever suit their need. It's like that. Yep.
Is there, just following on from that question, is there a kind of programmatic organization of the space according to the urban adjacencies?
会根据那个都市的那个附近的都市来做，就是整个上面整个空间的规划，对什么影响之类的。
对，你不是有个全区的调查图面吗？
全区的调查图面是哪一张？
对，它其实是根据它的旧的都市发展的纹理，那调查它的交通、文化设施以及动线等等，对，还有它历代的生物串联。
So along these now gray part is actually full of all cultural and historical trait and characteristic that is unique to the city of Taichung. So we incorporate some of those traits to our design. And I don't know if we have the picture here. So yeah, so we actually have investigation about the surrounding green belt. That is the pre-existing green belt, and this one here is the one we created. So if without this one, this will all become just a green circle without any ways to go into a city center, which is used to be not so popular with citizens or visitors. And yeah, and you can see that this is two rivers that went through the center of the city, and so we the location of the site is over here, and you can see that it's
可以看到旧的都市的台中都市发展的纹理，有的是垂直的格状，在100年前的都市规划。
So it encounters so it's at the intersection of the water and the green belt, and in this area is where it's the old town district, so a lot of stories happened here. And for example, like around here, this is one of the oldest elementary school we have, and we also have a lot of old shrines here, and although some of them are abandoned right now, and we also have a lot of let me see. Oh, this one's gonna be better. So we have a lot of old buildings from the Japanese occupied period. So for example, like we are over here, and this one is the old sugar factory, and this one is the old wine factory for rice wine, not for like red wine. And this one is one of the old government building.
We may have another question. Sorry.
Okay.
I had a question about the ecology on the site. If you took that into consideration, or if you really were pushing the cultural elements. Could you talk a bit about any ecological motivation?
We absolutely took ecological issues into consideration. That the plant we choose here are originate from Taiwan, so we specially pick them to show like visitors or citizens who visit here that these are the things that originate from this place, and we not just pick them because they're pretty, but because they're meaningful. 还有什么就是我们对于那个设计上对于生态上的考虑吗？
对，我们做了一个比较多样性的台湾原生植栽的设备，那么有又蝶又鸟的植栽， 然后有一些小朋友可以饲养昆虫的植栽的种类，那么还有一些铁道印象的植物。
We also make sure that these plants are suitable for like butterflies and birds and other insects to live in, so that it's actually reach a balance between human activities and the natural features. And
它本来是很贫瘠的土地，上面都是石头，那我们都做了土壤的改良。
And that well, the whole site used to be covered by rocks because it used to be like train tracks, so it has to be covered by rocks to avoid accidents. And then we add during the design phase, we added dirt with nutrition to make sure that this place can become a wonderful place and a healthy place for insects and animals to live in. And moreover, we want to make this a place that has that is important, that can bring joy to the environmental education, so that this place we make sure it's children friendly, so they can actually play along the imaginative tracks and with the insects and the little animals.
Well, thank you very much for this presentation. It's a really interesting project and a good idea how to activate a neglected place below a tram track. So thank you for the presentation. Congratulations. Unfortunately, the time's up and we need to move forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna stop.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.